announcement from Praized, from Xplosive. Does that have an impact on them? You know, it can 100% make them, you know, I guess a bit lackluster. It can also make them more powerful. It just depends on what mindset they're going to have as a whole. But we are going to be loading in. This is going to be an incredible one across the board, where I strongly feel Oxygen is going to be putting up a tough fight. I really feel that way. I could be wrong, though. As you guys know, I'm typically, you know, sometimes I miss the mark. I really do, but I shoot my shot. You can't discredit me on that. I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking. I may not always be right, but I'm gonna lay down the law and let you know what I'm thinking. I really am. But when it does come to Oxygen, I think you have to look at Rocky. Rocky's my guy to be the pop-off factor. Zoom, naturally, the Swiss Army knife that is normally making some big plays happen, much like Handles does on Vanquish. And Zoom is going to be your positional player to lock in the spawns and battle against United's early rotations. But I will say this, though, do not allow Powerz to get his hands on the M-bar, because my goodness, if he gets his hands on the M-bar, the connection he makes are absolutely insane. Greg, you like that full screen? Hey, check it out, man. It was a good one. You only get it a couple times, though, so really take it in. Take a screenshot. It'll last longer. We're going to be getting into this matchup very shortly. We really are. And I'm going to go ahead and look at the stats as a whole for EU and Oxygen, which, you know, whenever it does come to Regency, again, like I said, United has definitely had their struggles here without question. Lost to Fire and Ice 300, 258. That's just within the past, you know, couple when we added in the damage per second. But whenever it does come to United off the beginning, whether it be phase 1 or even the beginning of phase 2, they struggled when it came down to control, specifically on Regency. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm a little bit worried about, because United has shown struggles on Regency, and Oxygen could very well take the opportunity to capitalize in that moment. Let me hop over towards, let's hop over towards Oxygen, see where they look like on Regency. And so they beat Pittsburgh Knights 300 to 120. You know, fair enough. That's a big win in my opinion. PK is a team that you have to take seriously, despite how much they've been struggling as of recently. But again, anytime you beat Pittsburgh Knights, that legendary status they have, right? You got to take that seriously. Regency, though, against Rise didn't work too well whenever it does come specifically towards Oxygen. They lost 222 to 300. It's not the biggest loss, but a loss nonetheless. And then more recently, I think that you have to take into account is their loss against Noble, 215 to 300. And Pushyz only dropping 2 eliminations there. I hate to put him on the spot, but it's the truth. He only picked up 2 eliminations. He had 15 deaths. He was the leader in deaths, so at least he was the king of something, but not the king of the stats you want to be the king of, right? That crown for deaths, that's something you don't really take pride in. But anyways, let's get into the matchup. First battle for the M-bar underway. Zoom keeping that pressure on Powerz, but Powerz is in fact going to be quickly picking up that M-bar. You'd have to assume, at least, if Zoom doesn't decide to move in. Praized with a little bit of a sidestep, takes down Rocky in the meantime. Zoom has in fact moved up. Powerz giving a lot of respect to Zoom's positioning, which you wouldn't expect that, would you? Powerz is a player that isn't shy about taking a fight, isn't shy about pushing you, especially if he feels you can get the added edge. But that fight is extending for some time, and finally Zoom is going to be down. And I think Kenny had a portion in that, lancering from afar off the respawn. But early points going to the way of Oxygen. United looking to position themselves around for the right side. They want to take control of this spawn, and the way you do that is by pushing Zoom and Co out of positioning. And it's really twofold. It's a double-edged sword. Powerz connects onto Zoom with the M-bar. By the way, that's why I said do not give Powerz the M-bar. He's going to tear you up and eat you alive if you do so. He missed that shot on Pushyz, fair enough. But again, by pushing the side United pushes, they now, it's twofold. Like I said, you can apply pressure on the hill, the first hill, and then you can also take control of the spawns for the next hill, which naturally it's going to be more impactful for the latter, because now you got United, who's going to be positioned well to hop in and challenge Rocky and Co, who's going to be trying to retake this hill for themselves. So Rocky and Abolics, they've got their hands kind of full here, looking at a wall of United members, and that includes Powerz with the M-bar. Hasn't connected just yet. but you have to assume that body shot's going to hurt, and Pushyz is going to be in a lot of trouble. Abolics going to be in a lot of trouble. United moves in. Rocky, though, utilizing a great angle, and he's going to pick up maybe 2. He's got a lot of presence here, and I can't believe it. Oxygen genuinely takes the hill with just 2 members. And again, that was Rocky and that was Abolics sticking it inside the hill, battling against Powerz and co. Great job, though, from Pushyz and Zoom, utilizing that left side. A lot went right there for Oxygen, but United does have the closer spawns. They're going to have the refresh very quickly. But Oxygen, a telling lead. And if United doesn't retake this hill, my goodness, United's going to be in some trouble, and they are in trouble. You got to assume. Pushyz picking up 2 players. Can he get a third onto Kenny? He's definitely giving it his best. Kenny trying to run away, maintain his life. Zoom, though, is going to get the best of him, take him down. And Xplosives can't push this. Where's he going to go? He's by himself in the meantime. So Oxygen, a flawless start. Powerz gets the fresh in bar, but this is what I was saying, guys. When it comes to United, they have had struggles as of recently. And by the way, Toby brought up a good fact. Toby brought up a wonderful fact, and that was the thing, or the fact of the matter, that United has either won or lost in the way of 3-0 in Pro League through the entirety of Phase 2. It's pretty telling. Pretty telling. They have either won or lost 3-0. And I think it's telling more so for the 3-0 losses they've suffered over time, right? Because, you know, it's one thing to win 3-0. Okay, whatever. We expected of United, but the reality is every loss they've suffered was due to a 3-0. We knew at the beginning of this phase 2, United had a bit of an easier run. They really did. But when they met up against Fire and Ice beat them 3-0, we kind of had to question, you know, is United going to be able to snap back? And, well, they didn't. Granted, for United, though, they are, in fact, in 4th place in the Pro League, but they can easily fall behind, and I hope they don't, especially being this close when it comes to retirement for Xplosive and Praized. But regardless, though, Toby, Oxygen has had one hell of a start, and United is forced to fight back.
Absolutely so, and it kind of goes against the point we had earlier about United starting off strong and then getting a little slower as time goes on. And so good news for Oxygen, actually. And important for them, as they come out very defensive, stay against Noble, United likewise. I do wonder if Oxygen can keep up this flow.
All right, Toby having those connection issues. No worries. Hey, look, check it out. When it comes to Toby, again, give him some credit in chat. Please give him some praise because he's been killing it today when he's been casting. You know Toby. He's an OG in the gear scene. OG in the gear scene. He's been casting since, I don't know, you know, Jesus said, let there be light. Gears was around, all right, at the beginning of time. Let's just be real with you. I know Blaze for sure was there when Jesus said, let there be light, and Gears came into the scene. But Toby's been killing it tonight, guys. And just because he's having those connection issues, it doesn't represent him as a caster. You know him. You should give him some love, baby, because he's doing a wonderful job. Connection issues, sometimes you just can't control it, right? It happens to us. We know us, all right, whenever we're online gaming and you start lagging, hey, it hurts you. It hurts you. It is what it is. But regardless, though, the action will continue. And United is trying to fight back. 54 to 125. A large comeback needs to occur and needs to happen. But at the moment, United continues to extend the fight over towards Oxygen, which is pretty incredible, to say the least. It looks like my screen's got a pretty pixelated at the moment too, can't lie. So I'm kind of watching this at 180p. 75 to 125, there we go, we're cleared up. And Kenny looking at Abolics and Rocky just down below. Xplosive does have the pinch, though, and he's going to make the most use of this. Rocky is, in fact, going to take him down. Or excuse me, Kenny's going to take down Rocky. But again, though, United has closed the gap, and this is impressive. You got to give them credit with the loss they took off the beginning. Oxygen was looking so poised and ready to take a dominant victory, but they haven't. Now, speaking of which, Xplosive just announced his retirement and hasn't had the best Regency control so far. He's got 2 deaths, but he does have the 10 assists. Let's give him credit. And that's what we want from Xplosive, right? Be that shot caller, be the veteran IGL that he has been known to be, and he's putting in that work without question. And I gotta ask you, chat, when it does come to United, And I guess let's just point it this way. When it does come to the retirements as of lately, Franchise losing him a legend, Xplosive losing him, you know, the legend, which speaking of which, the El Clasico between Rise and Eunited was literally Xplosive versus Franchise, okay? Now we are about to lose both of them. But, you know, and it seems like grim times. It does, you know, it sucks losing dominant pros like Xplosive and Praized, but let's also think about some rising stars that we've seen as of recently. Dyslexic being one of them. You know, Demon doing his silly thing, but again, a rising star that is incredible in his own right. He'll be back, but still, stupid mistake on his part, okay? But we've had Dyslexic, we've had Demon. At one point, we had Krabby's rising up in the scene, okay? You know, Rocky is one of those players that's been incredible. You know, he's been around, though, a little bit longer, you'd have to assume. Zoom, I think, is a rising star, in my opinion. Let's even throw Bronny into the mix. Even though Bronny currently is fighting in the Challenger Series, which, by the way, he's doing an incredible job there. Bronny, another rising star. So even though we do lose veterans, it gives an opportunity for veterans to then, or excuse me, for the newcomers, right? Those young guns, or maybe even those players that's been around for a long time to reach that legendary status and kind of replace some of the veterans we are losing as of recently, Franchise, Xplosive, and Praized. So in my opinion, you know, this is just a cycle of sports. It's the cycle of esports. You can't stay a pro forever. As much as we want to, eventually you just give it up. And, you know, there's not a negative point about that. It's just sometimes you just got to move on with your life, and it is what it is. And you can't discredit the performance from Xplosive and Praized in their career. That's been absolutely magical. But regardless, though, I'm kind of curious, who do you foresee, you know, being that next dominant player in the future? And maybe we're already seeing that dominant player. Regardless, though, back on board with the action, 160 to 143. Eunited continues to slay it out and tear it up as Oxygen is, in fact, starting to come back once again. They did have the lead in the beginning, but Eunited retakes control. But it's a battle. You can't discredit that. Oxygen retaking the hill for themselves. 43 seconds remaining. Great job from Pushyz to take down Praized. And taking spawn control is going to be something that is 100% critical for Oxygen. They understand this, and Rocky is going to be instrumental in that. Powerz, Xplosive, going to be up ahead. Rocky finds an opportunity to angle out Powerz. He's also going to get some shot on Xplosive. He's doubling back. And even if he can't push up and get the finishes on those two Eunited members, it's okay because he's keeping them away from challenging the hill. So job well done. Oxygen once again taking the lead, 171 to 160. But Eunited gets a couple of points, but it's not going to be enough. At this point, you got to focus on next. Get that rotation in. Get those utilities if you can. Speaking of which, Praized, he'll pick up those frags. Player rate, Pushyz, he's rotating down low to get his hands on the shocks. And whenever it does come to at least Rose Garden, we're moving there. Now back to the original rotation. And this is where things can start getting a little bit wild. Hey, Toby, it's good to have you back, brother. Hopefully you're here to stay. How you feeling?
Feeling okay right now. I hope, I pray, I'm crossing my fingers and toes that we are stable now, internet-wise, for the rest of this map, because this map's been incredible. I've just been watching it from my laggy connection here, and it's just been so close. Oxygen Esports are putting up a fantastic game.
All right, Rocky, he's going to be pushing up there. And Toby, it's good to have you back, by the way. Love you, brother. You've been killing it today. And I know chat's loving the commentary, too. Getting some EU representation up in NA, Latin America. Pushyz, good job to pick up Xplosive. And the reason why that's instrumental, Toby, is the fact that he now gets the team pickup. We got a close one, but United's holding on to that minor lead. Oxygen, you better believe, is ready to fight tooth and nail, though, to retake control. Kenny tries it. Unfortunately, he gets taken down. Powerz now last up, goes for the one piece, goes for the two, but he's finished off. And again, United is there for the refresh.
Absolutely. So, United advantage right now on this Garden Hill. Abolics and Zoom are just turtling down for the last 20 seconds. You expect everyone else to rotate potentially for the next hill. At this point, Praized will actually be in a lot of trouble himself. 1v2. And he will get dropped as well. The rotation does start for this next hill finally, and Powerz has that M-bar ready to utilize for this next hill.
Powerz has been so disgusting with that M-bar, and that's what I said. Look, for Oxygen, do not give Powerz the M-bar. But, you know, they didn't listen, Toby. They really didn't, because Powerz has got the M-bar literally every single time. And a great body shot there is going to keep even more pressure up onto Oxygen. United, this would be a big win for them, especially with how they started. But, you know, maybe it's early in the day for them. I don't know. When it comes to gamers sometimes, Toby, they don't wake up until 4 o'clock.
Absolutely. So, frag grenades picked up by Xplosive. I was trying to get away, and Xplosive's there to try and save the day. Revive chain starting, but nades, honestly, need to be thrown. Praized will be picked off. He's out of downs. The Lancer headshots do come on through. An auction now. They have a little bit of work for themselves to try and hold on and stop this onslaught of United coming in. Kenny is pushing in hard in his own. Caught out. Powerz still looking for that headshot with the M-bar. He so desperately needs to try and push in from the center. Never mind, perhaps spoken too soon as Pushyz will fall.
Pushyz falls. Scoreline very close, just 20 points separating the two teams. And again, this is going to be a scrappy one without question. I said these first 3 maps benefited Eunited, but clearly Oxygen had to, you know, stick their nose in and disagree at this point. This would be a massive win for them, but it's concerning. United does, in fact, have control. And at this point, Toby, you got to make a decision if you're Oxygen. Keep fighting, rotate out. Well, they're going to choose to rotate out, and Kenny is going to be looking at a wall of Oxygen members pushing him. Plus, you've also got Xplosive, who's going to be joining him, but he's not going to be there per se. And Oxygen knows Kenny's kind of by himself, so they're going to apply the pressure to him, try to take him out. This is going to be a big hold for Oxygen, and also a big retake for EU.
Couldn't agree more. This is huge now. Auction have fought so hard this entire map, and now we're approaching the closing moments potentially. If the United can just finish off this last hill. Kenny battling for the spawn, already rotating around looking for Rocky, but Pushyz is there in his back with the pinch. Powerz coming into the fray though and picking up 1 kill there. Keeping it to essentially a 1v1. Powerz uses the opportunity to push forward, but Pushyz says no, shot him over the top, getting the kill. Kenny with the M-bar over off spawn. And Xplosive working together with his teammate to hold on to that hill. United holding on by the skin of their teeth.
Skin of their teeth, indeed. And as you know, something you don't typically say for EU, but as of recently, again, they've kind of been on the struggle bus. They really have. And I don't know if that explains the retirements, but that's all hearsay, in fact. Either way, though, United within striking distance of taking the win. Oxygen, they've got to contest this hill. They do. They've got to get in there and at least force United to the point where they got to fight for the next hill. And honestly, Oxygen just needs to contest for just a couple of seconds, and they're going to be successful in doing that. So United now is forced to fight for the next hill, you'd have to assume. But Oxygen, yeah, even better, will take over the hill. Well done to them. They stay alive a little bit longer. And I think we can both agree with this, Toby. If Oxygen wins this, being at the deficit of 282 to 219, that would mean United threw this map away. But for see them doing that, we'll find out.
No, certainly agree with that. And United even getting the scrap time to throw salt in the wound of Oxygen Esports now. The race for the next hill is on. Pushyz is there, but he's not got perfect timing, has he? 1v2 for him. Abolics isn't close enough to really influence that fight too much. It all comes down to this final hill. 2 seconds needed for United, essentially, to finish off this round. But Oxygen getting kills now, lighting up red is the kill feed. Praized still there to at least hold on to that hill for now. Scores are so distant now. It seems like. Oh, yeah, picking up kills. Rocky and Pushyz getting in the Lancer fire now, and that will actually enable them to set up somewhat. And United, they have to bide their time and wait for the opportunity to make a play. With only 2 seconds to go, it's all come down to one play.
It's that one play indeed. One thing to take note of, though, Oxygen doesn't have enough time on this hill to win. So, yeah, there you go. United's going to get the final couple of takes. There it is, 300 to 249. My heart would break, Toby, if United loses that. I would be completely real with you being 2 points away, but I've seen it happen in the past. Nothing is guaranteed. It really isn't. And that statue hill, that statue hill is sometimes the bane of the existence for certain teams. But Xplosive, your match MVP, I said he was struggling. I guess he wasn't. The 24 assists and a 19,000 damage done. I mean, come on. Do you expect anything less from Xplosive, brother? He's incredible.
Yeah, almost like a support player, you could say there for Xplosive. Something you wouldn't think you'd say it after all the history of this player. But no, really good win actually for United, because we were talking about it at the start, right? in and out of course of the laggy connection on my end. But Oxygen Esports were doing really, really well, starting off strong. You know, usually it would be United who do that and then kind of taper off to the end. But no, United, they pull it back despite a really shaky start against Oxygen, and they managed to get the win in the end with what was actually quite a big score differential, right? And so they really had to pull it back and pull themselves up by their bootstraps and do really, really well to secure that one. Meanwhile, for Oxygen, you know, if I could speak to them into the headsets right now, is just keep it together, because that was a really, really good map from them. Let's be really honest. It's a tough game going against United on Regency as well. You know, a pretty strong map for United. Going to check out, they've had some really, really good maps on this one against top teams. Oxygen, keep it together, and you're in a good chance at going far in this series.
Test for them. They have had some tough losses in the past on Vasgar Escalation, so you know, this is one that I think they need to take. They really do, because there is absolutely nothing guaranteed going in to map number 3. Even though we do see a Vasgar victory over Rise 5-4, that's impressive. Rocky picking up 27 eliminations during that series, but let's face it, United isn't Rise. Okay, they're just not. And United is a better, or at least historically better, Escalation team. But anyways, here we go. Rocky battling hard for the Ensigns, and there you go. First blood going to the way of United again, like I said, or excuse me, going to the way of Oxygen.
Unfortunately, how it played out, actually, Praized and Xplosive taking each other down, essentially. I think it was Praized who landed down Xplosive. 4v2 situation as it transpires. Kenny, of course, went for the snipe. A little bit disjointed, actually, Taylor. Quite surprising, because Kenny later on went for the snipe. You know, it's an outplay, potentially, you could describe it as, if the opportunity comes, go for the snipe. But it feels like he was perhaps set on it from the very get-go. Praized seemingly, or rather Xplosive was seemingly quite on his own. A Lancer to the back is not going to help. United generally were just all over the place that round, and quite unfortunate to see, because I liked the aggression. At that time, it just did not work out for them. Auction, really good round from them.
A great round from them indeed, to capitalize on some mistakes from United. You mentioned the concerning stat, though, and rightly so, given the fact that they did lose 1-6 just last night. But Powerz, like I said, an impactful player, picks up first blood and gets away without being touched by the Ensign.
Oh, Xplosive getting down on Ness. Kenny has to race now to get the revive. Not going to happen. The team fire is focused from Oxygen. Abolics cleaning up that kill, bringing it down to a 3 versus 3. Power weapons exhausted pretty much. Sniper, I believe, is still in play, though, if the team was to try and go for that one. I'm not sure if that is on the cards, though. Kenny not even close enough to consider a chain revive on that one. And now things do slow down with Pushyz all the way over against Praized in that 1v over in tech. And the question is, you know, what team is going to be the first one to move? You know, which one is going to be the one to rotate for the hill? Do you give up the sniper? Do you give up map control? Is it better just to get there first and set up on the covers? Or is it better to chase? Those are the questions right now being asked amongst themselves.
It's going to be a weird one, honestly. And a big one for United, because, again, Powerz gets that first blood. And I was highlighting how they do capitalize off of first blood, usually converting that to a round win. Powerz trying to get a bit sneaky, bait out those shots from Zoom. See if maybe he can make a bit of an overexposing situation. Oh, Kenny getting those incense, though. Powerz also getting the snipe. Yeah, this should be an United round. I would be really, really impressed with Oxygen if they win this.
Tactical incend there from Kenny, straight on the choke point, so no one can take cover there, no one can make the play. They can't even get across. This is absolutely perfect from Kenny. Turning around to boot as well to find Zoom. 3v2. Cold capture coming in though. 1 second. I thought United were going to get in a little bit quicker, but seemingly their timing is a little bit better than mine. Fantastic stuff from United. And right there, you know, they go to show perhaps how to best play out that stalemate. Instead of rotating early like Oxygen tried to do, instead they got the incense, they got the snipe, they held their nerve and timed it perfectly, rotating towards that last hill. Kenny, of course, excellent incense. So smart from him.
Kicking time.
Yeah, excellent incense indeed, and sometimes using them tactfully instead of going for the elimination is the play to make. And Kenny's he's a smart player. You know, he's the egghead for a reason. Normally that's a negative connotation to be called an egghead, but in this case, I mean, it just means he's a genius, right? I think in Gears terminology, it just means you're incredibly smart. It's a huge compliment. 4v3, make that a 3v3. Kenny once again having the snipe, giving Pushyz a haircut. He knows he needs to capitalize in this moment, but Powerz is there to be the hero. Picked up the second, and Powerz, good plays from him. That was one of the most dominant, quickest rounds we've seen as of yet, I guess, albeit other than the first round, but well done from Eunited to chain two together and take the lead.
Truly so. Of course, Kenny going for that snipe once more, and that's going to be a very threatening variable, actually, for Oxygen. You know, they've been focused quite heavily on that nest area. Xplosive, of course, really threatening the incend pickup early on, but now Kenny has been keeping on with that snipe pickup, right? And so Oxygen have a lot of things to manage, a lot of variables they have to keep their eyes focused and pinpointed on. And this is how they're responding. Aggression. They go straight into the middle. Check out Rocky with the quick pick on the incense trying to get out. The revive does come on through. The Powerz responds with a snipe pickup. The flank comes on through from Pushyz. He finds one. Rocky turns around, gets one kill, but unfortunately takes down Pushyz in the process. 3v3. Powerz, beautiful snipe there from halfway down the checkout. And somehow, a little bit of clutching up by his teammate from Kenny there over towards the nest. We're down to a 2v2. Kenny rotates in for the frags. Powerz has to be careful he doesn't get 1v2.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we've seen Solar space himself out from Enzim, and you don't want to run into a situation like that, like it happened on Tomb, that resulted in obviously a map loss. That happened on round 11. Powerz just trying to keep them at bay as long as he can. Great shot. That's the second heading we've seen him hit. Oh, my Lord, Powerz! You can't retire after that. Come on.
Absolutely beautiful. My goodness. 3 headshots in that round. Check this out. Beautiful composure finding on Rocky and Zoom. Not going to happen, my friend. You cannot up A into that cover. Even reaching the cover is difficult. Oh, that's beautiful.
Finger.
How are those Zoomer as well to finish off? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, spot on from Powerz, and it's really good to see him come into his own now here on checkout.
What's like your favorite food in the world, Toby?
Something British. I don't. Honestly,
just pick anything. Spaghetti?
Marinara.
I tell you what,
British, but
spaghetti
that's my
marinara. All
honest
right, check it
answer.
out. Those snipes from Powerz, now your new favorite dish. All right, just finger licking good, delicious. All right, I don't know if spaghetti's really finger licking good. I guess you. Kenny says Powerz.
Oh my goodness!
Let me raise you one. Let me hit a nice shot across map. Pushyz. By himself. Okay, fair enough. He does. Okay. Hey, slow down. My heart can't take it after the snipes from Kenny, the snipes from Powerz. If Pushyz would have clutched that, I'm out. But now I'm still here because he didn't. 4-1 lead. Eunited popping off.
They are. They most certainly are. Kenny as well is doing so well this map, right? So well. Powerz has had the star moments, but Kenny has clearly been performing his role so well. You can see, right, in the stats, he was, what, like two kills with 8 assists? Really doing the work from the back checkout. An unsung hero, if you will, with only 1 death to his name thus far. 9 kills now for Powerz being enabled by his teammates and his great power weapon usage. But look at this, Oxygen, 3 players round the side of this checkout looking for the snipe. Pushes it on in. Powerz has him locked in on his sights like a predator, turning round. A second kill comes on through. Powerz with the double. Eunited are on fire. 5 rounds in a row now, Taylor. And it looks like, to me, checkout is their home. Very much still. And that loss against Vanquish yesterday doesn't seem to have fazed them whatsoever.
Yeah, Powerz is just disgusting. Like that, even that platform fight was beautiful. Who did I say was gonna pop off? Who needed to pop off? Powerz, my guy. 12 kills, 2 deaths, 2 assists. My goodness, he's my new hero.
You and me both, I think. Honestly, I think you need. Oh my goodness!
Okay, still got the trade.
Just plays out of nowhere. Xplosive as well coming in to get. This is getting crazy. 3v2. Hoffman on our screen will fall. That is of course Zoom. Pushyz just trying to run to his spawn to find cover. Not going to happen. 6-1 the final score. Eunited have just pulled it out the bag and are very much confident still on checkout. As said, they are taking their absolute time to clean up this kill, I will say. What is going on? The execution coming in from Kenny.
Xplosive tried to catch it too. He's like, where'd it go? Hey, I'm here, man. I'm in the outfield, brother. I don't see it. That's a home run. 6-1 victory for Eunited, and no one can say that wasn't a dominant performance from Powerz. 13 kills, 2 assists. My goodness, the damage done 8,434. Well done from Eunited. They lead 2-0 in this series. Oxygen looking like they may have an early loss. We're going to go ahead and go to a quick break. When we come back, we're heading into Vasgar Escalation Map 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Gears Pro League Split 3 Phase 2, Day 14. I'm Taylor Reflections Double, joined by Toby Campbell. An impressive victory, especially from Powerz and Eunited as a whole. My lord, the snipes they were hitting. That 6-1 victory was a statement, in my opinion.
For sure, for sure. It looked like, you know, Eunited starting off a little bit slow on checkout, but clearly, based on the replays alone, Powerz said no. That is just absolutely stunning. Really, really nice. And that Kenny as well, getting on the kill feed too with the snipe. Also, and yeah, fantastic stuff from United. Honestly, I'm very impressed with how they've turned things around after what was perhaps a more difficult map number 1 than we originally predicted, right? We kind of thought, this is all right, United for the first 3 maps, but Auction certainly made it difficult for them. But they've come to it now, 2-0 up. Are United. Vasgar Escalation next. Could be an interesting one.
You know, it's gonna be really funny if United wins Vasgar Escalation, because again, you pointed out the stat. It was brought up to my attention from Hunter, from our production team. I even verified it and looked at it. Again, I said it before and you said it. When it comes to United, they've either lost or won in Phase 2 all of their series in a way of 3-0. So they could very well win this series 3-0 too, which again would keep that. I really don't even know if that's an impressive stat line or not, but like it would just be a unique one to say the least, quite honestly. But you know, Vasgar Escalation is when you have to favor that of United, Toby. You kind of do. But I will say this though, and I know you did your research into it too. When it does come to EU on Escalation, Vasgar specifically, they have taken some losses. You know, it's not like they've dominated this map like they normally did in the past. So, you know, those losses, you know, could in fact play an important role here. But I don't know, that 6-1 victory plus winning Regency control, I think United's feeling way more confident tonight than they were against VQ.
Definitely so, definitely so. They have the leg up, it's safe to say, going into this map, whatever it might be. But no, Vasgar, as of recent, hasn't been that strong of a map for United, actually. It's definitely nothing like Harbor, right, where they're flawless on. They'd have been happy to play that one. But no, EU are actually 2-3 on this map, as far as I'm aware, on broadcast, right? They've lost to Fire and Ice, Hive, and yesterday they lost to VQ. I mean, crazy stuff, actually, when you really think about it. United are a really, really strong Escalation team, but Vasgar has changed up a little bit recently, so maybe, just maybe, there's an opportunity now for Oxygen to get back into the series.
Nice push already. United's done this so well, even against Vanquish when they ended up losing. That tank fight, they were doing exceedingly well. Praized was holding his ground and wasn't shy about pushing into VQ last night. Same scenario here. United, they take control of B, they take control of A, and now they're still, they're kind of just chilling. And again, they're going to play the long game. They're okay with this. Allow Oxygen to push in and make the mistake. The only worrying thing, it is going to be a 3v2 on tanks. So this is going to put now Powerz and Co. to push up on the Pushyz. They win that fight. So now players 1 and 4 can effectively back up because Oxygen, hey, take B, take tank. It doesn't necessarily mean you're taking a lead.
That's the thing, right? Really good job from Praized from rotating out. Kenny is close at hand, right? The combat medic, if at all necessary, with the revives. Now the regrouping, right? Over at the A-Hill. Rocky has committed very much so alongside Zoom to this play. Got reinforcements to the left. The plays will start. Here's Praized, still fighting. The damage is coming in thick and fast against Zoom. Full red is Rocky. They really have to fight their way out. Abolics, really important reinforcement, but will it be enough? Kenny lurking with a Lancer to the side. Just about Oxygen are going to hold on. Meanwhile, look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Xplosive is rotated to the B-Hill.
Yeah, I was going to point that out, Toby. And you know what? That's United playing ahead of the game objectively. You got to use your brain sometimes more so than your brawn. We know United isn't scared about pulling out the sword, but at times they will pull out the shield. And in this moment, that's exactly what they're doing. A very rare moment where Oxygen will have the 2-1, but they shouldn't have the win condition. And United is looking to strike back and retake control. Rocky, who played very well off that retake last time, will lose his life this time around. And just like that, Oxygen's 2-1. It's going to be very short-lived. Abolics in that 1v against Xplosive. Xplosive not taking the bait, times it perfectly, and handles Abolics like a boss.
Such a great insight right into the brain of Xplosive, holding his shot there for what seemed like eternity. So much composure on his side, and given the score lead as well, he's very, very happy that it went that way too. Meat shield for that last kill, 5 seconds to come through, and a big score differential for the first round. You know, United played his textbook, and it kind of comes back to the way I categorize and view United these days. They used to be, especially if you go all the way back, right, of Xplosive's days of old, of Optic on Gears 4, they used to be just a slay heavy team. They used to just outslay everyone, and no one would be able to topple them in the elimination game. But on Gears 5, with all these new guns and the tuning changes and whatnot, United have had to rest on their strategy, their teamwork, their ability to outplay as a team a little bit more so than they did in Gears 4. And that round for me is a great example of that. The rotations are on point. Oxygen were always threatening, but just a few kills, you know, really added up. There's so much value because United makes them work. Numbers advantage matters. Map control matters to United, and they showed it off perfectly there.
United is now heading over to checkpoint spawn, which, you know, Blaze always hits this fact home. The fact that, you know, it's always impressive. It's impressive to win arrivals, but it's more impressive to win checkpoint. And I think on Vasgar, it's also very telling if a team can win 2 in a row. Typically, rounds will transfer because arrival spawn is the distinct advantage, at least off the start. Great shots from Xplosive. One more would put Rocky in the grave, so he'll just have to recover in the moment. Pushyz, who's been having a very difficult time. The struggles will continue, Toby. He hasn't picked up an elimination yet, not even an assist yet. Xplosive, a beautiful job once again. I got to tell you, the veteran is not playing around tonight. United going for the domination, and they are going to get it. And as I said, hey, winning that checkpoints or checkout spawn is impressive, and that's exactly what they do, and that's 2 in a row. United is looking like they're about to wrap up the series 3-0 quickly.
For sure. Truly so. Xplosive, great to see, right? Him playing so well tonight. Really coming into his own. His shots were absolutely perfect there, but also, you know, utilizing cover as much as he could and not getting too ahead of himself. And now United have had a slow round in play, taking that first round, and a really fast one. Only 33 seconds it took them on that second one. And they're looking very, very good indeed. I wouldn't be surprised, right, if this is a 5-0, 5-1 at this point, because United coming hot off checkout. Everything just seems to be working out for them so well right now. The ball is rolling downhill for them.
Yep.
And it's only speeding up.
It is. And let's talk about United speeding up, Oxygen slowing down. Their loss to Noble yesterday was, again, in my opinion, a bit of an upset, right? Noble can 100% beat Oxygen, as they did, but you got to favor Oxygen in that moment. Then to lose 3-0 in the way that they are, 1-6 on checkout, 300 to 249, which, yeah, that's really in favor of Oxygen. That wasn't a bad map whatsoever, but Oxygen has historically been great on control. But if they lose this map in a dominant way, I'd be very concerned for Oxygen heading in to the summer major. They may not be as dominant as I was expecting them to be. United, though, looking to apply a lot of pressure on the Charlie, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Zoom and Co can't stay here, Toby. They had to back up.
So true. Oxygen playing it as safe as possible, but Kenny already on the pinch, and it is absolutely perfect. United going wide on right hand, Xplosive keeping his distance. Rocky, the last man, over towards the tank, and Praized is already on his case. Rocky trying to push out. Sea-Hill being defended. Pushyz staying alive. Is there hope? No, maybe not. 5 seconds, although the rotation and the respawns are starting to come in. Brilliant movement from Powerz, but it will not be enough. Sadly for United, they haven't got really a huge score lead from that. They still do have 2 hills, and they have the numbers coming in now.
Oh, Praized. Wonderful job to pick up the trade. Allow Xplosive to get the finish. Ooh, and Zoom. Well done to him. You know, it's funny. I was looking at that fight, and it's just, you almost take it for granted that Xplosive is just going to clutch up. With the previous 2 rounds, he's been hitting, you know, 2 pieces nonstop. And in that moment, Zoom goes straight up to him and just handles his business. Well done to him. And Zoom is the player to make moves like that, but off the respawn is going to be EU, and like a just total vengeful push, quickly overtaking A. What's Abolics up to, though, Toby? He's hiding in the shadows, but he's going to be caught out, though, and finished off. But that was a fun play to watch, at least.
Yeah, most certainly. So I wasn't sure if United actually spotted him there, but Praized certainly went wide in that cover to make sure. And now you return back to some stability here on Vasgar. 60-point or 50-point differential between Eunited and Oxygen. They'll set up as the points start approaching that 250 mark. And finally, Oxygen can breathe for a second. The triple cap threat is gone now, but they have a very difficult challenge ahead of themselves. The Secret Man, Zoom is checking the corners, but he didn't check long enough. Kenny got that first shot, the angle coming his way, but it doesn't matter. He will pick up that kill.
Update from Side Station 2. We had Dream Conspiracy and Pittsburgh Knights play against each other. Pittsburgh Knights does, in fact, get that 3-0 over DreamCon, so that match is over with, and we could be looking down the barrel of 2 3-0s. Well, I know for sure this is going to be a 3-0, at least round count. So away, Oxygen gets back into it, and, you know, I hate to say it. I'm not as big. We know who the biggest fan is of Eunited, okay? It's Colin the Crow Clark. He loves the United to his core. I need to check his Twitter to see what his response was to Xplosive. I know he was tearing up when, you know, hey, you know, all jokes aside, he was tearing up when Fran retired. I can only imagine how he's going to be when Xplosive retires. Colin is just a passionate guy, Toby. And I think you've met him in real life, which, by the way, I'm jealous of. I'm jealous.
No, I haven't.
What?
I'm so sad. Yeah, I mean, kind of where I had stopped going to the Pro Circ events was when Colin was coming up, and it is so sad. Yeah, it's so truly so sad. I pray that I meet him one day. We'll work it out. I'll meet you as well, Taylor, in person one day. I'll meet everyone. I'll
give you some spaghetti with marinara, okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, American spaghetti marinara. I'm sure that is delightful. Oh my goodness.
You think
I have to
so?
say, American food, very, very good. But we in Britain have our delicacies, I will admit.
You do. You do.
We do. You know, beans on toast
are you a
comes
blood
to mind.
pudding kind of guy?
What'd you say, blood pudding?
Is it called blood pudding? Am I wrong?
No, it's called black pudding.
I'm an idiot.
Black pudding, yeah. Very nice, very nice.
I'm a typical ignorant American. Excuse me.
No. You're almost on the money though. It comes from pig's blood. So that's where the blood came from. There you go.
You guys are bold.
Exactly.
You guys are crazy. I'm going to tell you that, but I love it. Powerz is just as crazy. Well done on the Zoom and Abolics. Rocky gone. Woo! Rocky gone. He's on all fours. Is this going to be a domination, Toby? I think so.
I think you could be right. There you go, Praized finding Rocky there. That should be the nail in the coffin. The numbers are too much. Pushyz will roll in for a second, but it's only a pause. 4-0 coming in strong. Under a minute for United. They are really coming into their own. And it's looking like a 3-0. Taylor, you know what? It is looking like a 3-0 map count-wise.
It is.
I don't know what it is, but United have somehow pulled off something incredible so far in the Pro League. I believe they have one more game after this. Against Elevate, yeah. And so if that can be a 3-0, that won't be repeated. Like, that will not be repeated. That record, if you will, of every match being a 3-0 of some kind. Crazy.
You know what's crazy though? Jacob was hitting this home yesterday, Toby, is the fact that, like, top 5, really top 6. Well, I would say top 5. Pittsburgh Knights, a lot would have to go right for them to take over first place. But Vanquish, Rise, FNI, Hive, United all have a very real shot at first place, depending on how this goes. And that's just because, you know, tonight's matchups are stacked, because let's not forget we have FNI and Rise coming up in the 3rd series. So if FNI wins that, Rise is going to drop down, FNI is going to rise up, and then all of a sudden, which that sounds kind of backwards given that Rise is literally a team. But when it does come to first place, nothing is guaranteed. It really isn't. So things are going to get a bit wild tonight. And Oxygen, though, to their credit, maybe a decent start, but they can't get F just yet.
You can see Kenny just hounding with that Lancer over to the side from the middle. Powerz getting pinched though, does it even matter? Bounces on through, finds Pushyz. Oh my goodness me, and somehow finds Rocky as well. Powerz is here to play just like the rest of United. That was stunning from him, and now the D and E hill has been collected from United. They haven't been able to get the triple cap in this time.
Oh,
Kenny
wow.
was able to say Praized.
Yeah, that's big, and you also have player 3, Xplosive, who's coming off the respawn, and they're easily going to be able to swarm on this hill, take it over for themselves, and just keep that point lead in their favor, which is something they've been doing quite well on. Powerz will leave one of the players Zoom to kind of bleed out, and they're going to go ahead and extend and try and take this hill on D. Luckily for Oxygen, they have snuck a player over to retake the other hill, which is going to keep them alive, but that's going to come down to a 1v1, and this is an important one. This fight needs to be won from Abolics. Xplosive is going to rotate over, and he's going to put up one hell of a fight, so this is a do-or-die moment for Oxygen.
Yeah, I respect this actually from Xplosive. Instead of just opting to fly in for that 1v shotguns blazing against Abolics, instead he gets the Boltok, plays it a little bit slower, and ensures he does not die in this situation, because the score difference is actually quite massive now. Building up. Xplosive still applying the pressure though. He's thirsty, not going to find it. Abolics will find that crucial 1v. Powerz left in his sights down below.
Well done from Oxygen, though, to keep the round alive. Granted, United still has the win condition, but it's on a knife's edge. It really is. Oxygen, they get a decap on that. They're going to be sitting fine. Great win from Zoom to take down Praized, trying to sneak through middle. Kenny, though, is going to be engaging onto Rocky. This decap can't happen, quite honestly. 1 instant to his name. Might throw it onto Zoom just to get the decap, and again, and that's exactly what's going to happen. D will, in fact, be decapped in a moment. Powerz will be angled out, and United will recover the 2-1, 20 seconds away from a 3-0 victory.
Honestly, this has been another beautiful round from United. You know, textbook, just playing it slow, playing for the 2-cap after a huge amount of aggression early on. Kenny throwing that last incent, tactical in nature again on the D. But it will be decapped, you're right. The FL has been regained for Oxygen as well. They bought themselves time. Can they find those kills necessary to keep this round alive? Powerz rotating with his teammate as well. Praized just to his left. And this is it. Surely 10 seconds to go. It's going to be an all-out fight now for Oxygen.
Definitely is. Player force trying to slip through the cracks. Player rate's going to beat him. That's going to be Abolics. Oxygen, though, fails the fight on F, and they will lose 5-0 as United keeps the streak alive of either winning or losing in the way of 3-0 in Phase 2. And in this case, they will, in fact, win, which makes them a scary contender for potentially rocking up to first place. Well done to United. Hey, Toby, it seems as if they're back, baby, and just in time for the Summer Major.
Absolutely so. Beautiful to see for United, of course, and all the fans of United after the sad announcements coming from Praized and, of course, Xplosive. And it was difficult to see yesterday the 0-3 against Vanquish for a lot of players. To see them still going strong after what seemed like a very deflated United yesterday. It's really, really great to see. And arguably Taylor as well, this has been their most difficult game of this one and the one remaining. Elevate, honestly, if they can beat Auction 3-0, they should have no problem against Elevate based on the standings alone. I think United are back to their usual selves, to be honest.
I think they definitely are. Again, that's a solid victory against a team that I consider a bracket buster team. I think Noble has dethroned Oxygen from that true bracket buster team, in my opinion. Noble is just looking incredible. Cells has been popping off. You love to see it all around. But I'm happy for United. Last time, well, potentially last time, they do have that matchup against Elevate. Let's say, Fire and Ice and Rise ends quickly. Might have a chance to kind of peek in on United from that side station matchup. So, but at least as of right now, officially, because we don't know if we'll get that chance. Officially, this was the last Pro League match we will get to witness on stream for Powerz and Praized. And it's a bit bittersweet, isn't it? Because you get to see a 3-0. They take a victory in a dominant way, or excuse me, Xplosive and Praized. Powerz is not retiring. He was trolling. Xplosive and Praized, but like I said, bittersweet. They get a 3-0 victory, but again, it's the last chance, or last time, we'll get to see this full 4-man United roster in Pro League.
Sad time, of course. Really, truly so. And, the heartfelt comments going out to Xplosive's tweet the other day, or even yesterday, goes to show how much presence this man has had in the scene. It's been really, really sad for a lot of people, me included. Right? I genuinely believe Xplosive is, and it might sound like a strong statement, but I believe it. I think Xplosive is perhaps the best player ever in this game.